Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Omniverse of Nick and Part 15 to the Mcqueen Walking Dead story. I'm your host, Nick. And like always, before we get into today's episode, be sure, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite part or parts of ongoing or past stories, and future requests for stories or general discussion that you might see happen in the channel in the future. With all that out of the way, let's begin part 15, where it's gonna get really, really intense. First, we catch up with Milton at Woodbury, who's still in charge during all the events that happened. He's gone into the secret room hearing something, found the tanks with the heads. But that's not all. What he finds, knocking, hearing that sound, making him go into that room, is the biggest surprise of them all. The governor's zombified daughter, Penny, behind the door. And at this point, Milton knows. Milton knows, since he's there to actually see it and confront it firsthand rather than Michonne and kind of Andrea. Now he knows. They can't stay here anymore. The governor is a fraud of a leader. And honestly, he should have seen it sooner. But he just cared for him as a friend too much. So he packs up Clara, Haley, Jody, and every single person left in Woodbury and efficiently and just completely ball it out of Woodbury. They're done. They're not staying there after that. At the cover of nightfall, they all camp out. But they are all awoken to Jody screaming for them to wake up! Wake up! And once they see why he's screaming like this, it's too late. A car with a cross has just speeded out of there with Haley and Noah. And this is the entrance into Grady Memorial for the 2% of you that don't know what that car with the cross is. I mean, come on. Yeah. They have kidnapped Noah and Haley. Milton, much against his better judgment from wanting to keep everybody here getting into more chaos than there already has been, especially at Woodbury, they have to go rescue the people. So Milton and everybody else involved make a getaway from their camp to go save Haley and Noah. Meanwhile, Martinez and Shumpert are on their way to Woodbury to get Milton and everybody else, but on the way, they run into Pete, Mitch, and the militia. So, yeah, bit of a bunch of weird interactions and twists and turns already. Now, Martinez was not against joining the militia in the original show, so he wouldn't be against it here either. So he joins them and also asks for their help in getting to Woodbury and tells them about Woodbury and that they have people there and everything. Now, they could have just asked Rick and everybody else who are on their way to Washington with Mcqueen to come along with them to Woodbury and get everybody there, but honestly, it wouldn't have mattered for one thing, and two, Abraham was insistent because of how much they backtracked, because of the governor. And Pete is more than willing to help them get back there. On their way, almost there, the militia stop, and they look very concerned. Once everybody in the militia and Martinez and everyone gets a full-on vibe of where they are in Atlanta, all of it around looks like not only someone here, but they did a very good job trapifying the place. And you guys know where I'm talking about. Martinez, he's surprised that they didn't see this kind of part of Atlanta sooner, and whoever's here, they got a lot of stuff, but Pete says no, they don't. He looks all around, and just from the sense of it, he can tell that not only was this place trapified, but it was also picked apart. He could just feel it. And sure enough, when they avoid the traps and everything around the surrounding area and get to the top of the apartment complex, sure enough, there is not a single weapon, a single scrap of food, or anything involved. The entire apartment complex and anywhere around it really has been looted. Nothing's left. Mitch and Pete talk about their options, about what to do at this point, and going to Woodbury and doing all that stuff, and talking about the area when all of a sudden, out of the blue, Alicia is struck down viciously and violently by Morgan. Yep. You guys were thinking that he was dead, or some of you were inferring that he was not dead. You were right. A sword slash on his chest with a gunshot from a shotgun exuding with it. Cold, red, piercing eyes, and an axe mounted on to a big pole stands Morgan Jones. Pete tries to reason with him, but Morgan's not listening. This Morgan is just like my Dale Morgan, except for one thing, that was a hallucination and a dream the entire freaking story. And two, story's not going to end just because I'm including it, and this Morgan is going to be worse. But anyways, point is, not a single person there. So taken aback by Morgan coming back from the dead and just showing up out of nowhere, he kills them all, takes their stuff, and burns down the apartment, even more viciously than Cannon. Then he heads on his way. Shane and Michonne, they're never going to know what's coming, and they made the biggest mistakes of their lives. He kills the two people even more viciously, finds Eastman's place, and Eastman tries to knock him down. But it does even less. Because Morgan is actually fighting back much more so. It's actually giving Eastman a hard time. He did fight him, just not in the first encounter. Eastman, he actually has to try here to knock him down, but he can't. Morgan is vicious and hungry for blood and death. This Morgan is 1,000 times any Morgan that I've introduced or been in the canon story. He actually lands a strike on Eastman. And now Eastman, even though he's hurt, he actually has to really try here. Even try to put him down. Morgan just keeps going for the kill over and over, with Eastman dodging and parrying and blocking, trying to get a shot in, and then he does. Finally knocks Morgan to the ground, the first strike that he landed. But Morgan then just almost immediately gets straight back up, as if nothing had happened. The strike, it seemed, it didn't do anything. It didn't even hurt him. But then Eastman sees the wounds, the shotgun wound, the sword wound, and this guy still has come here to fight him? This guy is a definite threat. And Eastman's thinking about just, unfortunately, putting him down. But he doesn't need to do that, because before Morgan goes to strike him, the wounds and him going on this long, especially from the shotgun blast and the sword slash, they finally catch up to him and he falls to the ground. But he is not dead. Eastman looks very, very concerningly at Morgan's body, waiting for him to just jump up like a freaking superhero and kill him. But he locks him up, and he doesn't. But Shane and Michonne aren't the only two that made the mistake of leaving Morgan's body where it was. Eastman made a mistake of putting him in that cell and sparing Morgan after all this. He's made the biggest mistake of his life, as well as Shane and Michonne will eventually make theirs. Morgan doesn't try to just get out the window. Oh no. He breaks out of the cell and breaks the cage, literally, and jumps out. Eastman, at this point, throws him out of the house and is like, I tried. And now Eastman actually is trying to put him down. Because this guy, he's a literal wrecking ball. He's a menace. He's an absolute killing machine. But nothing that Eastman could do would save him. He ends up decapitated and brutally murdered, as well as Tabitha. And when all is said and done, Morgan burns all of Eastman's house and his everything. His sticks, his yard, all of it burned to the ground. Another place absolutely destroyed and in carnage because of this new Morgan. And the cold, red-eyed, now even much more stronger Morgan, now that he is recovered, and Eastman actually fixed him. So now he sets his eyes on Terminus, with its residents still there. Meanwhile, Shane and Michonne are still with the Saviors. It's funny. I was just talking about them. Isn't life funny sometimes? That's where we're going to leave things, with how they made the ultimate mistake of letting Morgan live, and how they'll be getting in with the Saviors, and what will happen at Terminus with Abraham and everybody in the next episode. So, what do you guys think will happen next? How did you like this episode? And what is your favorite part so far? With all that out of the way, guys, I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure, if you did, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite part or parts of ongoing or past series, as well as future recommendations for stories and general discussion that you might happen to see appear on this channel. With all that out of the way, it's only getting even more epic with a much more unstoppable Morgan and Terminus right around the corner.